What up guys, Nu-Metal983 here bringing us another album review, and this is the one that is new, is going to come to the channel, and now indeed we're going to dwell into it today. So yeah, I'm going to be reviewing the new Within Destruction album entitled Yōkai. This is released under Ultra Heavy Records, which is Within Destruction's new label that they have released. But yeah, this is the band's fourth full-length album. I know I've said before I missed out their debut album, but you know, I'm not perfect, but yeah. As you know, I've been a massive fan of Within Destruction for the past, let's say 4 or 5 years, let's say, rough around. When I first got introduced to the band back in 2016, so yeah, that was 4 years ago, with their second album entitled Void, which, as you know, was my album of the year for 2016. I mean, that album is still an absolutely incredible piece of brutal deathcore. If you haven't heard it, it's blisteringly fast, blisteringly heavy, and just obnoxious as it gets when it comes to deathcore. You just need to hear it. It's absolutely fantastic, if you ask me. And then they decided to go even fucking heavier with this third album entitled Death Witch, which came out in 2018. Now that was pretty high on my top albums list of that year, as you know, and make sure you check out that video if you haven't already. But yeah, so that album was absolutely fantastic, and it's still to this day one of my go-to albums when it comes to deathcore. In fact, both albums in general are absolutely incredible. But we arrive in 2020 and the band has decided to change their direction into a more unusual sort of direction, but does it work for them? We'll see as we're getting into this review. So yeah, it's 13 tracks and runs around 40 minutes in length, and yeah, this is not what I expected from Within Destruction. I mean, we are talking, before I heard the lead single, the first single that they dropped from this album, which was called Hate Me, which is the 8th track on this album, and I could see that they were going to be taking a new sort of direction with the band, and seeing this like kind of unravel was kind of like a little bit much to take in, to be honest, because I didn't expect a band to make such a change in direction like that. I mean, we haven't had this kind of direction change since, you know, Suicide Silence done that, so, you know, and that didn't work out for them so much. But so I was quite open-minded, because Within Destruction, I love the guys, and I knew they were going to deliver in some way an absolute belter of an album. And then when they started releasing more singles from the album leading up to its release, it made us start to appreciate what they were going for with this overall sound, and new elements in there to like spice up the sound and keep them sort of relevant, you could say, and bring in new influences and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of, there's still the deathcore elements, but there's elements of Nu-Metalcore in there, and even general nu metal in general. There's there's trap influence, there's electro, there's there's general rap influence in there. There's still the heavy slammier elements, the brutal aspect, and it's all combined into one to make this very unique release. And I have to say that this is probably the most unique sounding album I have heard in 2020, because this, in my opinion, I'm enjoying it more than I was actually expecting, because I'm not into the whole trap metal sort of sound, you could say. But this album definitely stuck out a lot to me, and I think maybe it's because of Within Destruction that I gave it that chance. But in general, I am loving the shit out of this album. It's so unique, because not one track sounds like another. Like, every track has a different dynamic, a different approach to it, but it still has that Within Destruction flavour and those heavier moments in there to remind you that it is still a heavy deathcore sort of release. Like, yeah, it may have the influences from nu metal, trap, and electronic and stuff like that in there, but it's still Within Destruction, just exploring new territories and exploring new sounds that, yes, there's maybe been some bands that have like tried to make this sound before, but I don't think any band has made it to this sort of level before, with this elegant songwriting in there. Like, the structures on these songs are absolutely incredible, because they're not just like metal with like trap bits thrown in there and rap bits thrown in there, Nu-Metalcore just sprinkle on top. No, this is like really good transitions between that, and you kind of feel like when you listen to the album itself, because you can't just get into a rhythm when you listen to this band, when you listen to this album, should I say, because it changes like every so often, and you just don't expect it, and when it does, you just feel it instantly. You're just like, yeah, that was a pretty cool fucking change there. But it really keeps your attention going for it, and I feel like no matter what song you listen to, as I said before, no track sounds like another, so you can pick out your favourite elements from this album, but you can hear all those elements that I said, those genres, you can hear them scattered throughout, and it just makes it just a more refined and more dynamic sound and release. Like, personally, I'm not going to try and compare it too much to Deathwish and Void, because this is the band changing up their sound and going for a new sort of direction. New, no pun intended, but a new sort of direction, experimenting with different territories and different genres to create a unique specimen that is Yōkai. Because, quite frankly, this is definitely one of the most unique sounding albums, not just this year, but in general, because it's got all of that going for it. And the production as well is absolutely crystal clear on this album. Like, you can hear all the elements on there, you can hear the guitars, you can hear the bass, you can hear the drums, you can hear the fucking drums, like when those relentless double bass comes in, and that's one signature thing that I will refine to. There's a couple of elements, like there's the like when you look at Void and Deathwish, like these elements you can take from those releases and put them on this album, and that is the relentless drum work and the crazy double bass on there, and then the relentless and chaotic, catchy vocals just on top of a new sound, but you can still make out that it is Within Destruction, bringing the heat and bringing the absolute fire on this album. But yeah, that's the only things you can really take from those albums to bring onto this new album, because it is a different kettle of fish. But I really fucking enjoy this album from beginning to end. There's not really any dud tracks on this album. When I first heard Hate Me, it was kind of like love-hate sort of thing. Like I hated the sort of change in style, but I also loved the new style and direction they were going for. And then as I listened to this, that was on initial listen, I might as well add, but as time's gone on, I've started to really appreciate that song and absolutely love it. But believe it or not, it's not my favourite song on this album. That would have to go to No Way Out, just because of that monstrous breakdown with that kind of like that anime sample in there. Just the way it just builds up, just that split second, you know it's going to hit hard, and it hits hard, and then it comes in with that chug and that chunk, and it's just like, it hits you right in the fucking face, and it just sounds like as if it was that breakdown was just ready to hit you in the face. So they haven't lost any heaviness from Deathwish, trust me, but they've just took it in a bit more of an experimental direction. But yeah, and the other tracks that they've released are absolutely fantastic, but a couple of songs that I would like to talk about on this album would definitely be the title track, Yōkai, featuring Ryo from Crystal Lake. He is an incredible vocalist, and I've really been digging Crystal Lake a lot. Like, before this album was announced, like, I'm really starting to get into them a little bit more. But yeah, his vocals on there, absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I absolutely love that song and its structure and its heaviness, and it sets up the album just so well, if you ask me, especially after following that intro, Yomi. It just fits so well. Absolutely love that song. And then you've got another song I would definitely highlight is a song that I believe they've released fairly recently, which is Kings of Darkness, another incredible song, and a song they released prior to the album's release was the fifth track, Malevolent, another great song, and another heavy banger on this album. And then as you start to progress through the album, you get to track 11, which is called Bang Bang, which the ears fours in there, featuring Tyosin and Kamiyada Plus. Yeah, you know I'm no good at this shit. But yeah, that track with that kind of trap metal influence in there, makes it just such a catchy song, and it really works for them. And especially when you know it's gonna when he makes that call out just before the trap beat comes in, when you know it's gonna get, you feel like it's gonna get heavy, and then it just drops a trap moment on you, and you're just like, what? Where the fuck did that come from? And it puts a smile on your face, and it really put a smile on your face. Like, I think there will be a couple of people that will cringe about it, but honestly, I really fucking enjoyed it when that bit came on. And then the last two tracks are instrumental tracks, and the first one, Sakura, I believe how it's pronounced, features Jason Richardson, who is now part of All That Remains, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's still part of All That Remains. But yeah, his guitar work is legendary at the moment. He's one of the best modern guitar players, especially with those hybrid picks and stuff like that. Just absolutely incredible. But on this track, he lays down those beautiful, soulful leads, and it just is a real nice concluder to the album, because you had your face ripped off and been going through this massive thought process of what the fuck am I listening to, and then you get to the Sakura, if I can speak, I'm no good at pronunciation, as you know, and then Tokoyo no Kuni, the last track, which is kind of like an outro sort of track to it. Yeah, it just brings it back a little bit, just soothes the blow a little bit, like just, now time to relax, just before the conclusion of the album. But then, in general, this album's production throughout is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love the drum work. The vocal work is absolutely incredible. It really impressed me. The range, the dynamic range that is going for through these vocals. Rock has improved his vocal performance so much since Void, where it was like those monstrous lows and then those screeching highs that was just so menacing, and then Deathwish just more focusing on lower vocals and stuff, but then bringing those into this, but then going for more of a mid-range sort of, as if a kind of metalcore sort of tone to it, just to complement the album. But then there is some like really low vocals. Like, that was one thing that I was worried about, was that low vocals were going to go in the gutturals, and there's even some pig squeals on here, which you wouldn't think for like Nu-Metalcore and trap and all that it would work. But honestly, I think for the variety that this album offers, it just makes it one of the best sounding albums of 2020, in my opinion. And the guitar work, there are some meaty riffs on here and some slabbing breakdowns. Like, oh, just absolutely incredible stuff. But yeah, this is just such a unique sounding album, and something that I'm really enjoying a lot in 2020. And I've been speaking to my band about this just before doing this video, and we are all seem to enjoying the different take that they're taking the genre to. And it's catchy, it's fun, it's an enjoyable album, and it's one of the best albums of this year, to be honest. I absolutely love this album. I can't get enough of it, along with the albums that I've already talked about recently. But I'm trying to get back into reviewing and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm talking about some of the albums that I've been enjoying recently, and this one is definitely one of those. So make sure you check out Yōkai by Within Destruction. It's released under their new label that they've made, Ultra Heavy Records. Make sure you pick it up. There will be links down below of where you can pick it up. I'm going to be picking up my copy on payday, so make sure you pick it up. And for an overall score though, I'm going to give this a solid 9.5 out of 10. Absolutely incredible album, one of the best of the year, and every time I listen to it, I find something new, and you will do as well. For fans of, I'm not going to give you one. This is Within Destruction making their own sound and bringing a new style to heavy metal. Not even joking. But yeah, I'll see you until the next video, and remember, stay metal, and I'll see you later.